I am Lakshita Johari, a senior consultant with Life Science Dynamics. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question, and I think things are changing almost every day, within that space. So, like I mentioned earlier, I think in theory there are really good guidelines and guardrails that the FDA has put into place to really allow innovative development in the CGT space and in rare diseases as well. I think one thing that is not missed across the regulators and sponsors alike is safety is paramount. I think, we're dealing with often very young patients, patients that have no other options. So making sure that we're delivering a safe treatment is going to be the number one priority, as well as making sure it is efficacious and it is delivering on the benefit that the sponsors are promising. So I think on one hand, the guidelines are really pushing towards that and really promising that additional hope for the sponsors. But I think with the CRLs that we're seeing come through, I think sometimes it's raising a doubt as to how the FDA is actually taking these guidelines and applying them into practice. I think sometimes there have been comments made about the clinical trial design, about the control arm used, which might not always resonate with the guidelines that have been shared previously. So I think that's where a lot of uncertainty is coming into play for the sponsors. And we're seeing kind of that back and forth happen with Unicure as well, most recently, where there were questions about the control arm that was used in their trial. So I think there is likely the need for more alignment across the regulators, to ensure that the regular touchpoint meetings are conveying the message and the sponsors are able to act on it accordingly. I think, unfortunately, for sponsors and the regulators as well, there have been a lot of changes in, the head of the CBER as well. We've seen a lot of ins and outs. So I think that that has also impacted the sponsors because I think the views of the administration change as well based on, who's at the head of that organization. So I think if there is kind of overall consensus that the FDA is going to use the guidance and keep that as kind of the goalpost, I think it would make it a lot easier for sponsors. But I think the kind of disconnect that we've seen recently is making it a little challenging for the sponsors as we're seeing with the CRLs.